with Len Keefe, General Services Director. Big job. And she's here to give us some updates on what's happening because things are changing, I believe. So, do you want to start with, I'm not going to ask you what.
Certainly. Good morning. It's good to be here. And a big job for a big team. And it really is our team that helps carry all of this out. But we do have a lot going on. So, I will start with just an acknowledgement for our grounds team who, if you have been out at all, I hope that you've enjoyed the Christmas lights that are decking the community, certainly down by the pond, and just the beautiful white lights, which are so attractive this time of year when it gets dark a little early.
Yeah.
It always makes me feel better when I cross the bridge on my way home. Just a great job, and I know Channel 6 did a little video too about the decorating that went on, so thank you to them. A few other things that I thought would be important to share. So over the summer, we worked in neighborhoods 2 and 3 to update the pull cords in resident apartments and also to change out the emergency pendants that some residents have. And so now we have that completed across the community. And the benefit of the new system is the reception of those pendants. So you'll hear more and more information. We have a great article that a resident has written really endorsing why that's so important. The difference is that the new pendants are now fully functional. And what that means is if you have one of those pendants and you activate it anywhere within the fence of Green Spring, and so that means even outside of the buildings, perhaps you're walking between buildings, walking in the parking lot, anywhere in our fenced-in area, you activate that pendant and security will respond. So it's not quite a GPS, it actually uses triangulation. And it uses the repeaters that we have in the buildings and outside. That's what took us a little bit longer to just make sure that we had coverage everywhere that we needed it on campus. And so now those pendants are functional outside of your apartment home, outside of the buildings as well, anywhere within the fenced area of Green Spring. So look for more testimonials, if you will. If anyone has a question or is interested in obtaining a pendant, they can call General Services at 604-4610 and get a little bit more information about that. So just great news.
Okay, but this is, you pay for it.
It is
Okay.
a fee
Okay.
attached to obtaining the pendant, but it is a real resource to have. Yes, you have your pull cords, but there are many times that perhaps you're out of reach, and now if you're even outside of your apartment and you need to activate that, it will locate you wherever you are within the fenced area of Green Spring.
And it also tells you if you are outside, who you are and where you belong, and who to, contact. Because I don't wear my tag all the time.
Well, the pendant will not, it will identify to them if you activate it. They will be able to tell whose pendant that is and where you're located. Yes, yeah. But it won't be obvious to somebody.
No,
that's why it's still important to wear that badge.
That's if the medical people are called, if they have the name and,
yes. Our security team would have that information, absolutely. So one of the other things that is going on, not today since it's raining, but we have been working with several different vendors on our building envelope remediation following the sprinkler line breaks. And at the end of November, we had a town hall where we talked about what that project would look like, what was the impact to residents. We have 3 resident ambassadors that we are working with to help us keep residents informed about what's going on. So you'll see a little bit more from them, hear from them. They are Vince Ainger, who happens to be behind one of the cameras today. Well, he's usually here.
Oh.
And then we also have Sharon Dreyer and Chuck Harding. And so more information to come from them, but to update residents on what's going on. They have finished the work on Crestwood Court and they are moving to Maple Creek. The order of the work that they're doing is based on the risk of the building to potential freezing based on its location and a lot of the research that was done over the prior 6 months. So information is going to residents who may be disrupted with parking. We are doing parking credits for residents with reserved parking who may have to relocate for days or up to 2 weeks when that work is occurring. But we thank folks for their flexibility. I know we've had areas where folks want to stand outside and take a look at what's going on. And so the resident ambassadors will also be able to share additional information about what does it look like, what are they seeing up on the roof, and how is that project progressing. So lots yet to go, but good work going on.
Yeah, well, you always want to stop and see what's going on. You just gawk.
Absolutely, it's a lot of activity out there. So another area where work will occur in the coming months, it is not daunted by colder weather, should we get that, and that's the retaining wall that's across from Parkview. Most folks probably don't even realize it exists. It's actually kind of down in that ravine, and that wall has been bolstered in the past, but it has some work to be done, so that will continue. We've also finished up the Forest View Maple Creek Main Street. It was an area of Main Street that was initially overlooked accidentally, and we used that for some new lighting. We had resident input, and we used the information that was obtained from a lighting study to look at the measurement of lighting, which is actually in foot candles. So we've had some initial feedback saying, well, it was too dark, now it's too bright. Ben spoke to this yesterday too at the Coffee with Ben and the exec team to say once it was installed and now completed, we encourage folks to go over and experience it for themselves. Once the carpeting was put in and the project finished, a lot more light was absorbed. Mm-hmm. So we want to hold with that for now. Again, this feedback was obtained not just from residents about the fixture that was used, but also lighting engineers to look at what was appropriate lighting, both for our setting as well as our population.
Now, is this inside lighting?
It is inside lighting. It's in the hallway, in the Main Street area of Forest View and Maple Creek.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
We've
bright.
had a lot of positive feedback. We've had some others who are concerned that it may be brighter than what they're comfortable with. So we will continue to monitor that for now.
I'd go over and just bring a chair and sit under the lights and read, because they say with the dark closing in, you miss out on the sun. So I figured, wow, this is just like, and my doctor tells me to turn on all the lights in the apartment.
Well, good. Well, get over there and experience it then.
Yeah, she put some chairs out and you can sit down and make like you're in the sunlight.
There you go. So, yesterday was also the first day of winter. It certainly doesn't feel like it yet by the weather, but it's a good time as a reminder for our own preparedness. One of the things that we sent out to residents was the ability to sign up for what we call the snow clearing subscription service. So if you have reserved parking, you can sign up for that service. And if you sign up for that service and you have reserved parking, it's a reduced fee, $10 each time there's a measurable accumulation. Within 48 hours, the team will clear your car and or your parking space. Now, if you don't have reserved parking, or you have reserved parking but don't sign up for the service, you can still have it done on a case-by-case basis. You just need to call General Services, provide your vehicle information and where you're parked, and the fee is $14.85, I believe, each time you request that. So important, if that's something that you want to have done and you have reserved parking, sign up for the subscription service. I see it on the screen there. Forms are available at the front desk, and that's where you want to return those as well. But it's also a good reminder to think about our personal safety and preparedness for those winter months. I grew up in the Midwest, and so as a kid, we never left home without sand or kitty litter or something heavy in the trunk in case you got stuck, and a shovel, and we always had warm coats and a blanket because we had a lot of that weather. I think sometimes here we forget about that a little bit. So you want to make sure that your vehicle is prepared. Lots of great tips available to make sure that your car is prepared for cold weather. But we also want to make sure that we are. One, if we have bad weather, really evaluate whether you need to go out. And then if you do, make sure that you have appropriate footwear and that you're paying attention to where you're walking and taking your time. We talk to our staff about we walk like a penguin, and it's kind of a slow, almost a waddle to keep yourself stable on slippery conditions. So just a reminder, I'd like to think we won't need it for a while, certainly with the weather today. We need an umbrella, but that's probably about it.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes. So, really just getting ready for the months ahead. And there's a great picture of that walk like a penguin. It really does help keep us safe.
Yeah. Well, it does good for them. I mean, it works for the penguin, so it should work for us.
Should work for us.
Yeah.
That's right. So, lots of small things going on. We have staff who are just so grateful to residents for the Staff Appreciation Fund that many staff were recipients of, and that great event just a week or so, I guess a couple weeks ago now. But just a thank you from many members on the General Services team.
Well, is that it? I mean,
That is the
your
list
list?
that I have, yes.
yeah. But no, but I do like those lights. I can hardly wait for them to come to my side of the,
Well, we're still looking at how that will roll out. At this time, we don't have that plan communicated.
Yeah.
But I encourage residents to go and really experience the work that's done over there.
Yeah, well, it'd be good if people, walked around there, from the other areas. Well, I walk around every day. But I really like it. And if they don't like it, they can voice it and say, I don't want it.
Absolutely.
Don't know if it's going to do any good, but I don't want it, But no, I think it's terrific.
Good. Well, thank you for the opportunity to share all that's going on in General Services and around the campus.
Yeah. Well, good. And just to make sure you've got everything done, I'll guess we can end this session and wish you a Merry Christmas and all of General Services. I know it's a busy time for them, but
always a busy
always,
time. It's a
yeah.
great team, and we'll be back here next year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Lynn, for coming. And,
Thank you.